Hi, I told you. I never got how that imbecile made it to captain. Did you say anything about what we can do about the mast?
Nah, what could he say? We don't have enough coin to fix it anyway.
Shit.
An outlander. An outlander.
Why? Because you didn't get
A
bellyache?
voice, nice.
Don't tell me you believe that bullshit.
Well, you can't argue that he was right before.
You're bonkers.
You're from the surface, aren't you? They say that Taylor Aranthil came back. Let's hope he knows who rules this place as well as the trenches.
Huh? Yes.
Monsieur. Monsieur.
Tips. Just be wary of your outside city walls. I
Guess you've noticed as much already, but this country has seen better days.
Move along.
Hey there. You look as if you could use some comfort.
You mean watch the sailors all day long and sell a mug of brandy from time to time business? You laugh, but since those crazy Niramese soldiers have started swarming this country, it goes better than ever before. People are scared, and they don't dare to go back to their plantations or mines anymore and come to the cavern instead. A sad triumph, though. What is happening to this world? I thought that even if fire starts raining from the sky, Enderal would stay safe forever and a day. Huh. Same way most people end up here, I guess. Coincidence. You know, I came to Enderal when I was about 20, because I just couldn't stand my country anymore. And unlike most other Outlanders, I got lucky and found some good work at the Golden Sickle just a couple of days after our ship arrived. And when the Golden Sickle sent me to Duneville with a caravan, I just kinda wound up here. Doesn't sound very exciting, does it? But that's just how it was. Let me think. Everything? My countrymen, the Killians, they feel so great with their colorful clothes, their trading empires and sugarcane plantations. But when you take away all the glitter, their bloody culture is only about one thing, and that's making dough. Eat or get eaten. That's the only rule a Nil Yar plays by, even if the poets and bards try to make you believe otherwise. It's just, I don't know, empty, pointless. And hey, of course that sounds odd coming from an innkeeper in a miner's town, but still. Sure, people here are rough, but at the end of the day, they still have some kind of decency. Take care.
Yeah? What do you want?
Keep walking.
Cloud of the trouble brings mages wild and free, wicked wayward wizards. If they're pointing their fingers at you, you soon
Farewell.
too. In rooms and cavers they hide away, avoiding sunlight and brightness of day, uttering curses and hexes into the night. You never know what's beneath their disguise. They're masters of fear, illusion, and lies. You won't have a chance to say you're fine.
Keep walking.
You're from the surface, aren't you? They say that Taylor Aranthil came back. Let's hope he knows. Move along. Huh?
Good evening. About Myrids? What is there to tell? They're beautiful animals, majestic and wild, and dangerous if you're unlucky enough to run into an untamed one. In the time before the Blood Moon Revolt, a long time ago, tame Myrids like this one here was a really rare sight. Nowadays, though, they're pretty common, at least here in Enderal. Pity, somehow. I guess that sounds stupid, but I sometimes long for the times my grandfather lived in. Being a Myrid Warden was far more prestigious back then, and even feared with Sublime or Keepers. Nowadays, well, you can guess. Riding a Myrid has become as ordinary as riding a mule. But, who am I to complain? Oh, well, that's hard to explain. They communicate by clicking sounds. I, as a warden, have been trained to hear them, but you probably can't. And through those clicking sounds, I also tell them where you want to go before you mount them. Obviously, that only works for routes that the Myrid already knows by heart. Sure, where to? Well...
blessed. Greetings. Aye, sure. Take your time. It's not as if there's much to do down here anyway.
From the Farmer's Coast and Duneville.
Farewell.
Hungry for
Lord
arcane
bless.
secrets?
Sure.
I have books, scrolls, potions, anything for friends of path-abiding magic.
Farewell.
What bless it, my sir?
Work.
You're a foreigner, aren't you? You couldn't have picked a better time to come to Enderal. Recently, the Order has started to let pathless ones and people from the Undercity become keepers.
Saira, I heard about what happened on Half Moon Island. It's a wonder you and that mercenary made it back alive. But war, it just seems so unreal. How has it come to this? Now we not only have to fight these High Ones, but also some fanatic who thinks he knows best? If they are, then maybe we were foolish to think that the Red Madness is the only weapon at their disposal. Tell me, Saira, how is it possible that our beliefs about what's best for mankind are so different? Why are we so eager to be at each other's throats? Suffering leads to more suffering. Yes, that makes sense. You know what I find so hard to understand? Why there are so few people who actually care. So few people who feel the need to change something like you and I do. There are moments I just feel so powerless. As if we all know that if we keep going like this, we're headed for a catastrophe. But instead of changing course, we just stand by and watch. Do you know the feeling? I don't know, to me, that just sounds like an excuse. Whenever I think about it, I find it so hard not to get angry. Take all those upper city snobs with their colorful garments and exotic perfumes. They could put all that money to such good use if only they wanted to, but no, they don't, because they just don't give a damn about the poor. Sometimes I imagine going down there, grabbing one of them by the collar and dragging them down into the Undercity, and there I'd force them to see, just for once. But even that probably wouldn't help. I guess we only care about the things that directly affect us. Who fights against poverty if he's never suffered from it? No, it's not. It should be what everyone does. And once again, you've had to listen to another deluge of my whining. I guess I'm just not a person for pleasantries. Sorry.
Let's hope he knows what he's doing.
Anyway, I need to make some preparations now. Master Bartar requested my support with something, and I shouldn't keep him waiting any longer.
Pathlessness, wherever you look. Where is this?
A machine that can banish these high ones. The mysteries of this world are endless, aren't they?
Walk blessed.
Oh shit.
Thou art my
I have to remember.
But that's ridiculous. We have to at least try to negotiate.
You know his demands. There's no basis for negotiation.
He has not seen what we have seen. The writings, the memories of the Prophet. If he just realized...
Talon Korak would rather throw away his comb. That had been a mistake. Believe me,
What took you
I
so
know it.
long? And where is Constantine?
That's a long story.
And those were his final words? I can't believe it.
Simply another victim of the High Ones. If we do not activate the beacon soon, he won't be the last.
Oh, right. The beacon. If it's activated, we'll simply glow the red madness away, won't we? Or maybe we could, for once in all this, do something that actually makes sense, and focus our resources on finding an alchemistical or thaumaturgical solution to this problem, rather than trusting in a pile of scrap metal.
Oh, by the prophet's ass, won't you just shut up for a minute? All day long you do nothing but babble, getting on our nerves, and nothing you ever say gets us any closer to a fucking solution. So why don't you just shove off to one of the bathhouses? Go torture the washerwomen with your never-ending lamentations. That would be helpful for a change.
That is the prophet.
You will take that back.
Will I? Come here and make me. I'd be delighted.
Blasphemy.
Guard your
This
tongue,
is blasphemy.
wild mage, or...
Or what? Are you gonna kill me? That's what you do best, you and your fucking order.
Silence! You are angry, Lishari Pegast, and I understand why. But in the moment you let that anger destroy this alliance, Firespark's sacrifice will have been in vain. Is that what you want? Is that what you want?
No. No, it isn't.
Good. I am tired of this endless bickering. We have a responsibility, and we will fulfill it.
Well said, Aranthiel. And how exactly do you think we are going to do that? Without the sources, the beacon is as worthless as a heap of rusty iron.
The chroniclers are on it, and they will find the answer. Novice, tell Commander Aaron to join us. We need to plan the defense of the land. You, Prophet, will come to me as soon as you have recovered. Now, let us get to work.
Please, Tilor, Jorik is right. A war with Nerim? This is madness.
I know that it is going to be tough. We have no choice. The beacon is all that we have.
Yes, the beacon, the beacon, the beacon. We don't even know what this thing does, let alone if it will work. If you start a war only because of that damn machine, it means putting the lives of thousands at risk, only because of some vague idea. This is ludicrous, Tila. It's entirely irrational. The man I knew would never have acted like this.
Yes, because that man is dead. I've made decisions driven by fear and selfishness before, and they were always wrong. I will not let that happen again.
Where is this?
Seriously, Natara, stop acting as if this were about reason. You're just afraid of making sacrifices for what you believe in. You always were.
Sacrifices? This is about your damn pride, Tilor. Nothing else.
The sun be praised you've made it. Constantine. He didn't deserve this. It's just not fair. Then none of us are strong enough. Yeah, Constantine wasn't exactly the most approachable fellow, but he was a damn skilled mage. I have to talk to you as soon as possible. It's about the seal in that letter we found on the mercenaries in Old Rashengrad. I believe I'm onto something. Their client is from Enderal. From Ark, to be more precise. Let's not talk here, though. Meet me in the Dancing Nomad. I'll be in the first room upstairs, right at the end of the staircase. And hurry. Yes, see you there.
Hello.
Irrelevant. This madman, Koarek. He has completely reshuffled the cards. Now we not only have to deal with the High Ones, but also with him and his fanatics. However, there's also good news. You have probably seen it already. Physically, yes. And we also know how it works now, and how it can put an end to the cycle. It is easier than we thought. The beacon was constructed for one thing, to destroy the High Ones. Once reconstructed, infused with energy and activated, lit, as the Pyreans called it, it can banish the High Ones from this plane of existence. It is complicated if you try to understand how it works. You know that the High Ones are not made of flesh and blood as we are. Essentially, they can be compared to the cold or to shadows. Omnipresent elements, yet we cannot touch them. Energy, if you will. However, there is a counterpart to each energy. Cold and fire, shadow and light, the High Ones and the beacon. Yes. Imagine a torch driving away the darkness in the moment it is ignited. This is what the beacon can do, except that the vanishing will be permanent. Yes, as I said, it needs to be infused with energy before it can be lit. I take it you have noticed the 3 sockets on its base. They are what it draws its power from. Once they are filled, the beacon can be ignited and the High Ones will be undone, once and for all. At least, if the old writings are true. The only thing left for us to find out is what these energy sources are. But we are close. Give the Arcanists some more time and I will let you know if there's any news. In the meantime, get equipped accordingly. Some of the Neremes have landed already, and outbreaks of the Red Madness become more and more frequent as we speak. Well, it's only fair to tell you. You've always been honest to me, so I will do the same. Have you ever heard of the Night of the 1,000 Fires? Between 8,192 and 8,202, there was an underground movement in Kira called the Red Half Moon. They were brought into being by a group of intellectuals and philosophers who, under all the freedom of thought Saldrine granted them, started questioning the reign of the Golden Queen, and thus the Lightborn themselves. Saldrine saw himself as the god of knowledge, and accordingly he reigned his country. In Kira, no opinion is forbidden, which is why it is home to countless magic schools and universities, where people do nothing but discuss the reason for being all day long. An appealing thought if you hear it for the first time, but a cunning people isn't easy to reign. There have been more revolts and riots in Kira than bones in a graveyard, and the Red Half Moon was the worst of them. Correct, just as my son did. But other than him, they fought like cowards. Terror, dust crystals planted in the marketplaces, and assassinations, you name it. If they killed innocents, they blamed the Golden Queen, and if they killed her soldiers, they celebrated themselves as liberators. However, they never succeeded in putting her down, and neither did she in destroying them, which is why the court turned to the Lightborn for help. A division of the Holy Order led by me, a young keeper of barely 30 winters. None to be taken seriously. You know, not everywhere is the Order as present as here on Enderal, or as it once was on Narim. In Kira, we were ridiculed. I saw the Kiranian keepers who served the Golden Queen. A bunch of decadent gluttons who had dedicated themselves to the court's banquets rather than to the will of the gods. They were pathetic. A moon after our arrival, we received an anonymous tip on where one of the Half Moon's bases was supposed to be located, in a small coastal village. As we entered it, we were greeted by the township's elders, and the villagers themselves had gathered behind them. You should have seen how they stared at us, as if we were plunderers. I should have seen by then that something was wrong. That's what they wanted us to think, and they did a good job at that. A veiled person here, an archer on the rooftops there. I got nervous, because villagers or not, they bested us in numbers, and they had kettled us. Then a man seemed to charge at us, and I gave the order to draw weapons. It was just the spark they needed. Not a fight. A massacre. The villagers had pitchforks and shepherd staffs, and we had shadow steel swords, let alone the fact that we were trained warriors. I realized that I had made a mistake a split second after it started, but it was too late by then. My men, they slaughtered them all, like pigs. At the end of the day, 300 people were dead, and only 10 of them were keepers. Well, what better proof of the Lightborn's cruelty is there than a division of keepers who, out of pure wickedness, slaughtered an entire village, women, children included. If the people had already distrusted us before that, that distrust had turned into hatred, and nothing could have changed that, not even the Golden Queen's heralds. We set sail back to Enderal a week later. 2 years after that, the Red Half-Moon destroyed itself due to infighting. Ironic, isn't it? Maybe. The Lightborn and the Grandmaster back at that time showed the compassion I wouldn't grant myself. But I learned one thing. And that is that I will never again let fears about my own life influence my decisions. What happened in Kira was the consequence of my own cowardice and my unwillingness to give my life for a just cause. That will never happen again. What? Really? That's interesting. Provided this is true, that means that the emissaries aren't just people who fight the cleansing. They are people who fight for it too. And that also means that whoever granted us our powers and our purpose isn't an enemy of the High Ones, but a neutral party. I beg your pardon. I will not. What did you just say? What? And the same goes for me? That's ridiculous. They wanted to deceive you, to sow discord. I saw the threat the cleansing posed before anyone else did. And without me, we would have never come that far. Something changed inside me since I fled from my prison. I feel it. And it is the same thing that made you a part of all this. Now, enough of this.
You're a foreigner, aren't you? I wish I'd have crossed the Red Sea once, or seen Kira.
should I think about it? It starts getting really ugly. Even if Nerim manages to only get 1/5 of their army over here, the Order has a massive problem. Plus, most soldiers of the city guard have never used their weapons on anything else than training dummies, while the Nerimese have been hardened by 2 decades of civil war. I truly hope this Korak comes to senses. Somehow.
That's just how it is. Me.
Move along.
Roast pork. Anyone?
Prophet, are you in there? Kirash, what? Why? What have you done? Watch your tongue, Shari. Be glad that the blood is already dry, or else you'd be nothing but a pile of bones by now. Forgive me. I just can't believe it. Anyone but Lishari? Yes, I know, Nea. But she was a good woman. We both know that we're not involved in this, so please tell me why you and Lishari wanted to meet up here? Were the two of you close? It's been a while since there was a man at Lishari's side. So why? Your gift. I see. But then who has killed her? This doesn't make any sense. Maybe the murderer has left a clue. We have to search. What's this? Let me see. Yes! This could be our clue. No, certainly not. But come to think about it, it doesn't really help us either. There are so many dust addicts in Ark, it would take years just to count them. Oh, by the name of the sun, I will inform the Order. Yes, you do that. But come back to the temple as soon as you're finished, all right? The Archmagister has found something out about those sources we need for the beacon, even though he paid a high price for it.
Me! Stew! Roast pork.
Work. Light fades away at the end of the day. Ta-dum-dum.
Yes. I should say that. Everything was better in the old days. Well, that's just how he is. Always talking. That's just how it is. Everything better in the old days. Now a good pie. That's just how it is.
She-Ra.
In the old days.
walk blessed. I might. What do you need? An adventurer, huh? I suppose that depends on how daring you are. An old fellow in the Red Ox Inn told me about some kind of well up in the Northwind that's supposed to talk. Pathless magic, they say. I've got no intentions to become fodder for the wolves, so I haven't checked yet. But you might be more lucky than me. Safe travels.
Greetings.
What, are you asking me to teach you? From what I've heard, you know magic as if you've studied it for centuries. But... ah, elementarism. If Sinistra is a Scaragian dagger, and thaumaturgy is a solid broadsword, then elementarism is a giant, two-handed warhammer. A good elementarist is able to realize eventualities in which the air around him suddenly bursts into flame, or channel lightning from the sky. A very aggressive and powerful school, as you can imagine. Most arcanists favor it above others.
A machine that can vanish.
Yes? Yes, it is. Master Tyrus, my foster father. He was half Kyranian, as you might have guessed already. Some words just stuck around. Well, as I told you, I was never very popular with the other novices. You know, the novitiate was very challenging. The magisters only rarely gave us days off to contemplate, as they called it. The others usually used it to go to the tavern to gamble and drink. I never really liked that kind of pastime, and I still don't. I've never really thought about things like that. You know, life in the temple is quite secluded, and I doubt there are many men or women who would find my way of living attractive. But forgive me, that's very personal. I don't really want to talk about it. That's true, but when I feel the need to relax, I prefer taking a stroll or spending time in the baths. Whatever secret there is about relaxing to loud music, raucous shouting, and alcohol is beyond me. Tattoo? Oh, of course, you mean my mark. I've had that for as long as I can remember, and I don't have the slightest idea as to how I got it. It does. You're the first to tell me that, but thanks, I guess. No, it isn't. It's just there, that's all. Not without leaving a bad scar, at least according to the apothecary. And even if that weren't the case, I don't know if I'd want it gone. It reminds me of something. No, it isn't. It's just there. That's what Tyrus said too. But if it has a meaning, it's obscure. I couldn't find anything in the books, and the magisters couldn't put their fingers on it either. Saira? It was stitched into the blanket they found me in near that village. I don't really know if it is my actual name, but I had nothing else to go with, so it stuck. Until that Quark appeared, I actually thought things were going relatively well, like with the sigil stone and this beacon. But a war with Narim, that changes everything. They trump us in every aspect. Manpower, equipment, siege machinery. Let's just hope the walls of Ark are really as durable as they're said to be. If it's really necessary. What do you want to know? If that were the case, I probably wouldn't be here right now, would I? No, it hasn't. Usually it's just thoughts, and they're almost always there. It's as if there's always something lurking in the dark corners of my mind, just waiting for me to give in. It's tough, to say the least. I don't know if you can relate to that. Honest answer? I don't know, and I don't want to know. As I told you in the Schola, if I really am the one to blame for that massacre in the village, if this memory is real, then the answer to your question is yes. I would transform into whatever this creature is, but it will never come to that. You have my word.
Did I say something?
Brother, walk blessed. How are things?
Ah, greetings.
The fabled prodigy.
I suppose.
I hope you can live up to what they
This
say about
machine
you.
really is a science
I
in
really
itself.
do. How's that?
Well, let alone the metal, it seems to be some kind of
Yes, that just
conjunction
might
of
work.
Pyrean crystals and shadow steel. We have gathered the best blacksmiths in the country, but recreating this stuff is incredibly complicated. And that's an understatement.
Huh. Why don't we just use normal metal instead?
That doesn't work. This framework, it doesn't
Pathless,
hold
it
the
just
core
doesn't
of
make any
every
look.
Yes.
Where is this supposed to lead?
Describe, really. If it helps you, imagine it as some kind
If it isn't the Prophet, what's wrong? You look
every element is
troubled.
part of the whole. At least that's how Shao-Rim says it.
The entropist.
Yes. Say what you want.
Then I envy you. There hasn't been a war on Enderal for centuries. Just the thought that this fanatic, Korak, and his troops are sailing toward us as we speak, it's a lot to take in. At least now we have a trail regarding the beacon. At least as far as the sockets go, yes. In the old tablets you found in old Dothugrad, there's talk of black embers, which are supposed to be some kind of energy supply for the machine.
I know my choice.
This is what we've been asking ourselves over the past few weeks, and then it fell like pelt from our eyes. The Pyreans were talking about the Black Pearls. Old jewels, sometimes known as blackstones. They appeared for the first time in the Golden Era, and every self-important noble literally fought to get one in his possession. Apparently they originated from Stormwind, the old city in the heart of Octwind. They changed owners for decades, sometimes by violence, sometimes by gold. The whole thing only stopped when the owners took note of an undesirable side effect, if you like.
That's beyond me.
No, at least not with any known magic. And that's what's so strange about it. Nevertheless, all of their owners eventually shared the same fate. Countess Katua from Nerim, for example, whose castle burnt down to its foundations. According to a survivor of this tragedy, she was to blame for that. He claimed that he saw her the night it happened, laughing hysterically and dancing in the dining room and summoning waves of fire all around her. She was not previously known to have any magical talent in her.
Yes, it makes sense.
Correct. Plus, all of them eventually showed similar symptoms of delusion, like those possessed by the Red Madness do. A peculiar coincidence, if you ask me.
This machine really is a science in itself.
How's that?
Well, let alone the metal, it seems to be some kind of conjunction of Pyrean crystals and shadow steel. We have gathered the best blacksmiths in the country.
Not quite. They look.
Those who owned the pearl tried to get rid of it, or lock it up somewhere safe. And eventually they fell into oblivion. Tell him your theory, Archmagister.
Yes, of course.
It also conducts energy.
We believe that the stones carry energy, pure, uncontrolled magic, and that the High Ones use them for their own
Every
purposes.
element is part of the whole. At least that's how Shao-Rim.
Correct. The Pearl's magic make their owners powerful, but the High Ones befoul them, so to speak. Like a poison potion. I know it sounds odd, but the parallels are too striking to ignore. The red shimmer in the victim's eyes, the slow descent into madness, and ultimately this irrational, destructive act of violence.
What are you getting at? It's the Grand Master's will. And if I have to choose between working with those
what he's
heretics
doing.
or the cleansing, I know my choice.
That's a question I've been asking myself since we first learned of the cycle. Who knows? Maybe they like for us to suffer. Or maybe they see us as we see ants, whose lives simply mean nothing. Or maybe the very concept of intentions is meaningless to
May our
them.
path always be even, brother.
That's what we think, yes. Nothing else in this world possesses that much raw power.
Which is why you will find them for us. Correct. That's right. But we don't need all of them. The beacon has 3 sockets, and that is how many of the stones we will acquire. Archmagister.
I studied the history of the pearls as a young arcanist, and I think that my notes might give you some hints as to where you should start looking. Give me until tomorrow. By then I will have prepared the relevant excerpts. Just come to me whenever you have questions.
And hurry. I take it you have already noticed this, but Nerimi's troops are roaming our land and building outposts, and the Red Madness is also getting worse as we speak. Now go, Prophet. The sooner we find these stones, the better.
The prodigy, huh? Apparently we owe you for the shards of this sigil stone. I didn't think I would ever say this, but thank you. Pathlessness, wherever you look. Where is this supposed to lead?
Yes?
It makes sense.
Well, finding out about the Blackstones was like a child asked to understand the functioning of a Starling airship. Yes. Yes, that just might work.
Ah!
Some shifts never end.
Sir, walk blessed, friend. Where are you headed? Sure, where to? Already dark? Oh my. The time flies by.